Good morning.
Good morning.
So, I figured I'd just do an off the cuff recording and catch you off guard to get some genuine stuff to put out there. Because this podcast thing is proving to be way harder than we thought.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
I was
we're,
like, all I said was good morning and are you okay?
hey, that's a sign of a really great mom friend. Because, like, yeah, why are you calling me at
Yeah.
9 o'clock in the morning?
Well, you didn't even say good morning back. You were just like, can you pick up your phone? And I was like, uh-oh.
Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. I can see how that could cause a bit of emergency. I apologize. I'm
So
sorry.
I'm glad to see that you're okay. You're just being an asshole.
And this is the black and the white of it.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, yeah, this is proving to be a lot harder than we thought it was going to be, a point and shoot, and it's just not turning out that way. So, yeah, here we are. Let's delve in. Like mom friends, what's the value of them?
Oh man, there's so much value to mom friends. Clearly, as you saw in the beginning of this.
Right? Honestly. But the value in like how it shows up in our life. And I mean, how great is it that I could have someone in the morning that I get to call? I mean, we don't call, we usually text. And just already we're smiling. Already we're laughing.
Yeah,
Like, do you know what I
that's
mean? Within minutes. So, like, clearly a value is to be uplifting in your life, but that's not their only place, I feel.
no, not at all. I think like just for like to have somebody who can just validate you, um because like only a mom friend is going to understand what you're going through when you're going through it, um and to be able to just like send you a message of like my kids didn't sleep last night or somebody was up coughing all night or something, and you're just going to like automatically understand because you've been there in the same situation once upon a time, is like, yeah, that's super important, I think.
Yeah, creating the space for that other person to exist, I guess, because you can't tell your husbands that. They sleep. What is with
Yeah,
that?
right. And
They
then they're like,
sleep
"Oh,
it
you're
off.
tired?" Yeah, yeah, I am.
What a blessing. But we get the little moments all the way through, and we get to share them with other moms. And sometimes it's so nice to hear that someone else is experiencing it or understand that you're not crazy for crying because your little girl just said a full sentence.
Right? Or pooped on the toilet. Like, who would have ever thought that would be something you're excited about? But yet here you are texting your mom friends.
Honestly, and that's crazy. I can't, yeah, I have actually texted someone about poop before. That's crazy.
See?
That's a little nuts to me. But also, like, finding mom friends is hard.
So hard.
I don't even know how I ended up with you, to be quite honest.
Well, I do, but that's a story for a different day.
Oh, right. That is a whole podcast on its own. But honestly, putting ourselves out there and being available, and it's timing, to be quite honest, because in those early stages with that crying baby, and that baby needs 100% of you all of the time, the timing, like if you try to go out there talking to someone and you are already in an overwhelmed, overstimulated state, you're not going to give the greatest first impression.
Yeah, for
And if
sure.
like, and this is to polarize the types of friends, because there's mom friends and then there's just friends without the kids. If I were to walk up to the friends without the kids and I'm completely frazzled and you could tell I'm coming undone, like you as that friend without children, you can empathize with me only so much. Whereas the mom that's been there is going to be like, dude, I'm unfazed. Hand me that baby.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the real, like, the value in having a mom friend, because friends are nice to have, but that mom friend is that real connection that sometimes can be lacking, and it was kind of taken away from us for a few years there. So coming back into it is like a whole rediscovery.
Yeah. I think it's like almost something that's like crucial to have. Like it's yeah, it's just super important to have somebody who understands you and your situation and your season of life that you're in, and all the benefits that come along with it. Because like,
So,
especially in those early days, like you could tell me something and like you're gonna have to tell me again tomorrow because I'm so tired and have so many other things on my brain that I have no idea what it was that you told me.
that
And
is
somebody
so
who
true.
doesn't have kids might necessarily like might take offense to that, right? Because it's like
Hmm.
that's something that's so important going on in my life, and it's just like your brain just like literally can't like remember.
You know what? That's a very
What's
good
going on.
point because especially if it's a friend that's carrying over and past you giving birth. Because if that friendship was already there beforehand, it does shift and it does change. The attention that you would have given that friend or been able to give that friend before having your child is kind of lost a little bit.
Yeah,
And it's not purposefully, it's not with intent, but that friend might feel a little slighted in a way. Maybe a little even tad bit jealous. Mm.
maybe.
Tad bit
Well, I mean that
jealous.
happens as mom friends too, but
Yeah, it's so true because you know what? Sometimes you go out and you're like, I'm going out with who? And I'm like, who? Who is this? Where did you find them? And why were they not screened by me? I'm just kidding.
why do you have another friend?
Yeah, you can't do that. What are you talking about? We're in the thick of this.
And like
Um,
while I'm like happy that you're out and doing something, I'm like you're usually doing something with somebody who or something that like I wouldn't do with you. Like
yeah,
camping. I'm not gonna go camping with you. But I'm like, you're out spending a week with somebody else who will go camping with you. And I'm like, this
better
doesn't
watch
feel
out.
nice.
Yeah, wanting to start buying your camping gear. And it's so important to have those mom friends that do like enjoy the same things that you do, but like we just explained, like you don't. You will not go camping with me. It's not going to happen. I can't take you on a portaging trip. One, I
No,
don't want to put up with you
yeah.
during it.
It would be like the worst trip of your life.
Yeah, I don't want to babysit you the whole time. But
No.
we do have things that we do enjoy together. And quite frankly, it's our kids. It's watching our kids enjoy themselves, play together, and grow together, and celebrating milestones together.
Yeah.
Like there's a true joy in that. So do you find that your mom friend and like your sisters and you, your family and you, where do you think kind of that weight is placed more, you find, in value?
Um, I don't know. That's tough. Like, I think that I, um, I don't know. I think it's just like really different. Like, because I think with your family, there's like a level of like you're obligated, like they're your family and they're always going to be there and you're always going to love each other even when you don't like each other.
Hmm.
But when it comes to like a friendship, then I'm choosing I'm choosing to be your friend. I'm choosing to be around you, to put myself around you. Where like family, you don't really have that choice. You're born into the family you're born into, and it is what it is. Um, I
So
wouldn't say that
that's
because you do have a choice.
no, sometimes, but you don't though. Your family is your family, and there's just this like you said, there's a sort of obligation to them because they are family. As much as we try to disconnect from that, like blood is thicker than water. We've heard that all when we're all younger, and then we're coming up into this new age where they're like, no, it's not. Like we get to choose our family now, and that's also
Yeah.
very true, and that's going to show up differently for everybody. But also I'm going to bridge off of that because this is also important. The people that we bring into our lives around our kids, we choose that.
Yes.
I absolutely love that my kids look forward to you and they think of you. Like if we're doing something or we have plans to go somewhere, they're like, Melissa's going to be there. Elias asks. Esme is like, it's matter of fact. Like, did you call Melissa? Did you let her know? Like that type of thing. And I think that comes from I'm very particular of who I have around my kids because they get to see our friendship and how we show up for each other and how we treat each other. And I hope that that's a good example because they're watching us, right?
Yeah. 100%. Every little thing that you do.
Everything. And they repeat everything that we do. So I hope that our friendship is a great example for them to carry over. And it might not seem much now because they're 6 and 4, but subconsciously they are taking things. They're taking notes, right? On
Yeah, for
how we
sure.
interact with each other and how we respect each other.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, how we
then,
treat each other. And I think like that them going forward and making friendships of their own. Like, mind you, they're 4 and 6, so like a lot of the friendships, like you're my best friend today, and tomorrow I hate you. Um, but there's like a we are setting a standard for them of like
mhm.
what your friends should be, like what your friendship should be like. Because yeah, like no, someone's not your friend if they are treating you like that.
They're treating you poorly, then yeah, that's not a friend. And I mean, unfortunately, we haven't had to be an example of that for my girls because we've never spoken out of turn to each other. So we've never had to like, if you were to do that, I'd put you in your place right away, right?
Yeah,
And I think that's important for our kids to know that that's okay too. Like, fine, that's your friend, and sometimes you're not going to get along all the time. Um, and if it does come to that point, girls, speak up.
well,
Like,
and yeah, and especially like when it comes to mom friends, right? Because
mhm,
like there could be something that you are doing in raising your girls that I think is absolutely insane. And like you're going to just have to agree to disagree for some things, because some things will work for you and they won't work for me. But
mhm,
I think that our friendship specifically works really well because like we don't really have that. Like, I think when we first met, we were very open and honest about the way that, like, the morals that we have set for our kids and that we plan to raise our kids with. And, like, yeah, sure, you bring more of like the toughness, like the tough love, so to speak, to the relationship. But
mhm.
yeah, like, I think that we vibed so well because we were just open and honest about it. And our morals are so similar that we're like, yeah, okay. Like there's nothing outlandish that you do that I'm like, okay,
Whoa.
spice.
Yeah. There's nothing like that. Like, I know when I'm tapped out for giving out love, we need to go visit Melissa. Where's Melissa? When there's extra love needed at our house.
Yeah, and vice versa. Like I know if I'm like just being too soft, like I know that you'll call me out on it. And I don't take offense to it because then I'm like able to sit and reflect and I'm like, yeah, okay, like you just need to chill. Because then I can see once you've pointed it out how it's affecting my kids in not the most positive
It's
light.
not
So
necessarily positive. It's just kind of you're holding them back a little too much. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
exactly.
you need to have a little more trust in them and letting them kind of move about the way. And that's also a really great way, like another great reason to have a mom friend to get that outside view because
Yeah,
we tend to get into these yes vacuums because that's also dangerous with mom friends. If you have a group of women around you and they're always hyping you up at every single thing that you do, I always kind of get like, I don't know, uncomfortable. No, it's not even uncomfortable. Like, I straight up want to be like, you're lying to me. Like, where's
yeah.
the criticism in this? Where is the other perspective of this? Because I know there is one. So what am I missing? And
Okay,
you sometimes are very good at being like, that's a bit much, Adina.
okay, but at the same time, like because I know there's a lot of times when you're like, okay, like give me the criticism. Like I and you always say to me that like I'm like always cheering you on and I'm like a good cheerleader, but then it's like sometimes you'll just be like, okay, so like tell me what I need to change or what I need to do differently. And especially in things with like that's so like your cakes for example, that's not on a like a mom level, that's more of like a just our friendship level. But
Mm,
you're like, what can I add or what can I do differently? And I'm always just like nothing. Like it looks perfect because to me that's not my like niche, right? So I don't know what you
yeah,
can add. Whatever you add or take away, it's gonna look good, but I don't know. So when you're
fair
like,
enough.
yeah, give me your criticism, I'm like, I don't have any.
Fair enough. Yeah, yeah. You gotta be mindful of what you're asking to be um, kind of fed back to you, because sometimes there just isn't a place for it. So having the right expectations within those mom friendships and knowing kind of what their role is playing, because it, it is a role. Becoming
Oh,
a
for
mom
sure.
friend is it's kind of intimidating once you start to delve into it
Well, especially if
because
you think about like how much like you are impacting my kids and I'm impacting your kids. Like like you said that when you guys need or your kids need an extra dose of love, like you come see me. And like to me that's like it's like I'm honored to be that person, but like what if one day it's like I can't give it or something? Like you're not feeling the love or something. Like that's yeah, if you sit and think about that, that's freaking intimidating.
it's scary. And then for me, I'm just kind of, yeah, for me, I've given myself the role of being the person that, if your kid's out of line, I'm going to say something. It's going to be with love, and they're probably going to be, um, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I've had to speak to a child, and I'm like their best friend now, and I'm so confused. I am like, I'm fun. I don't play with my kids, and that's okay. And I love kids. I do. As much as I'm always like, oh my gosh, no, thank you. I do love kids. I have a soft spot for kids. Um, um, yeah, I kind of got off track there. But yes, the roles for mom friends and determining what they are, I think you kind of do that naturally. You'll fall into it.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean? It's not going to be a forced thing. You fall into your roles, and your kids fall into it too. And they fall into you.
Yeah, and I think like as long as you stay like genuine to who you are and you don't try to change, like you and I are so opposite that like when we met and like got to know one another, it would have been very easy if either of us to like change to try to like please the other person to
Mm,
change who we are. Like I could have like I love to love. Like if you are in my circle of people, like you will
it's
get
gross.
all that love. But it's
It's
just
gross.
who I am. Like it's
Hmm.
not something that I like think about and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this to love on this person. It's just like that's just who I am. Um, and get used to it because I think your first child is gonna be the same way.
Oh my word. Oh
But
my
like
word.
it would if I were to look at you and be like, oh, that's not who she is. So like I need to put on this like tough exterior to make it seem like I'm the same kind of person she is, then like that would have went left so fast. We wouldn't be friends
Well,
today. 100.
because it would have become apparent pretty quickly, right? And if I tried to be that doting, loving mom, yeah, I might have got one out of me.
But so when it comes to those roles, like as long as we stay genuine to who we are, I think it's just going to come naturally. Like it's just
Hmm.
as much as like you can get in your own head like I just did and say like, well, what if one day I can't give that love? Like it's just who I am. So it's not going to be something that I have to think about. It's just like
There is never a day that we've been in
just
your
there.
presence and you haven't given some type of love.
See, I
And
don't even know I'm doing it. I'm like, how?
oh man. But anyways, yeah, I think that like mom friends are very important, and they are hard to come by, but you kind of got to set those standards, and you've just got to follow them through, and like it'll fit. You shouldn't ever be walking away drained.
Yeah.
Um it should be uplifting, and that's just it. That's what we find, or what I think a mom friend needs to be.
And yeah, I think like when we started hanging out and like walking away and being excited after like or not excited, but energized, I think is maybe the word. After hanging out for like 5, 6 hours all day, then I'm like, okay, yeah, this is somebody who's like putting out a good energy and who I can be around. Because if you're around somebody and you're feeling the opposite of that and you're like exhausted after hanging out all day, then yeah, that's not your mom friend that you need.
Yeah, man, no way. But anyways, that's we're gonna end off with that. That's a good chunk of the value of a mom friend.
We're
And
so very grateful for everyone that's taking the time out of their day to give us a quick listen, as well as a show of support. You can find us here on Spotify, as well as we're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and we've even ventured over into TikTok. So we hope to see everybody back for a little bit more of This is the Black and the White of It.